What the fuck is up, motherfucks? Got a little something to say today. Not really. You know me. Always got something to say. I always got something to say, and I always got some shit I can say longer. The story I tell you is a summary. You sit next to me long enough. I'm gonna get to the details on your ass, but I digress. That's about like when I tell these stories about like 9/11 in the Audi home. Um, right, there's details in it. I can remember every detail. The fight I got into, how I cut dude's forearm with the chair leg, but like there's like little details in there. Anyway, this is gonna be about the white man. Is he or is he not done for in North America? We I don't live in Europe, but I know Poland. They're still getting down how they live. I know in Ireland they still, they're still out there on that island. I know they have cities that can be cosmopolitanized, like Dublin or some shit. And I know London is like the most multicultural, and it just became like that after millennia of native inhabitant Scottish. What are the Normandy people? I don't know, Vikings. You get what the fuck I'm trying to talk about. The fucking Vikings made it all the way to Ukraine. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So, reasons why they could be doomed. Number one, economics. The white man. I'll tell you another thing, too. Every white girl that don't have a white baby is just less and less white people. It's just a fact, right? I mean, could you disagree? Are they having more white girls to supply the demand for white girls that go to other races? Um, you got bitches that get dogged out by one white boy and blah blah blah, and it's a million motherfuckers hitting her up, and it ain't no white boys hitting her up, but it's a million black motherfuckers hitting her up. So she's like, the internet and drugs is the main problem that I see. The white man is afflicted right now with heroin and methamphetamine problems. Heroin's a biggie here in Chicago. What is it? We've been dancing with Mr. Brownstone. Keep on something. He won't leave me alone. Axl Rose. Fucking rock legend. If you ever watched that video, Patience, he did it like so gay. He was like, all I need is a little patience. And he goes like this, patience. He's like, patience. He did that shit so Michael Jackson-ish, or like, not like the fucking dude who sings My Michelle and all them cool songs and kicks ass. He sang that shit like a hoe. He was like, patience. It was like a ballad for real. It was a good ballad though. I've been walking the streets at night, just trying to get. I'm a good singer. Okay, so you got that. Now let me tell you another thing. You got people like me, whose daddies weren't really there for them. End up in the hood, and bro, I'm just now figuring out at age like 33, like the psychological motherfucking issues of, because I'm looking back on it, right? There was a year, I think it was like 5th grade. They're like, you go stay with your stepdaddy's mama, Mama Nani. Then you can go to that other school that's kind of white. I said, all right, whatever. I went over there, I got in trouble. I ended up right back at Marquette. Summer School. I couldn't do. I was with was the big boys, summer school boys. You know, that was just, that was the motherfuckers who wasn't even on no slick pimp shit. Just bone crushing type motherfuckers. Motherfuckers is trying to trip a motherfucker down the stairs for no reason. Motherfuckers don't just send the fucking classroom up. Fuck this shit. You know? Make a motherfucker mad. And then it was a conflict also with me being kinda close to where these Ambros were, and them being like, why you hanging out with the brothers over there, the gangsters? Why you? I'm like, bro, I live kind of by there. I'm on California, 63rd, 6329 South California. So I'm gonna hang out with them naturally and just go along with whatever the fuck they say. You know, I'm in fourth grade throwing up rakes and shit, calling myself like a little GD, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about free Larry Hoover. What the fuck I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But my boy John, he was one. That was what he was on, and the Mexican gang was really like more just their block, but the black gang was like a fucking movement. Like it was every block. 63rd and Western, 63rd and Campbell, all them 63rds, 63rd in California. And I never went. I never knew nobody down by 59th really because you know motherfuckers went to a different school or some shit. I don't know. What am I trying to say? The effects it had on me, the way I speak, the way I talk a little jazzy when I'm not, you know, paying attention to my mannerisms. You pick up mannerisms. When I used to get in fights, I would take both palms and slap them like on the ground, with my feet on the ground. Like if you were to touch your toes, but instead of touching your toes, you just smack the ground like a gorilla. I don't know who the fuck did that. I must have saw one of them brothers do that shit and was like, I'm finna do that shit. That shit look crazy. Look like a motherfucking gorilla in the zoo. Feel like I'm living in the zoo. What is that Gucci song? That old ass Gucci song. Lions, tigers, niggas in my hood. Feel like I'm living in the, I don't know. So there's that problem. There's also the problem of being beat down. I don't know what happened in my life. Being beat down by the media. But are they resilient? Has the family structure not been so polluted by poverty and wedlocked children like myself that end up in poverty because of wedlock? I'm telling you, this is a reality. Generational poverty. You know, if you've ever been to Cook County Jail, man, you get to talking to motherfuckers and you really start to see, because I grew up in the hood. I've been to people's houses. I know how this shit looks. Roaches, motherfucking the toilet don't work, motherfucking mom ain't correct, daddy ain't nowhere. Motherfucking, if the kid ain't tough, he's gonna have a hard time even being black. Remember this one kid, I forgot his name, Aaron? Motherfuckers used to just grab these crab trees on 63rd and Fairfield. They had these spiky apples and just bomb on his ass. Like for no reason. Like motherfuckers get picked on for real. I remember it was this dude, David Herrera, was getting molested in third grade. And I was like, what? Ain't none of y'all Mexicans finna say something? I'm gonna say something. I pointed at the one dude, Brian, who was black. I tricked on him because he was molesting him. And I'm like, buddy, ain't doing it, but he's like, you know, acting as if I'm motherfucking like, you know, he going along with the motherfucking shit. And that dude ended up being my good friend for quite some time. His name was Michael. After I fought him because we had to fight because I tricked on him in front of the whole class. I told him. And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers ain't gonna stick up for little David Herrera. His little fat pudgy ass. He can't take it. He can't do it himself, man. I'm not gonna sit up here and let this happen. I'm standing on this shit. Who's with me? Nobody. After school that day, I fought 3 dudes. I got my head bashed in the wall. I bashed the dude's head in the wall pretty good. It was like that rough brick too. But motherfuckers was alright though. I mean, we had to fight. They had to fight. I had to fight. But the ramifications of living there, I don't know if it was living there or what, changed me. But for some reason, I found myself in hood after hood. I lived on 38th in Michigan at the first African American museum. My best friend was black. His name was Paul. His mom was like a legend in Chicago. Mayor Daley, Obama. They went to her funeral. This lady literally came up to my room on Christmas, handed me a $500 bill. And I never paid her $1 rent, and she didn't expect me to, because she took care of motherfuckers. Matter of fact, her son, Paul Burroughs, mama died in New Orleans, and she told Margaret Burroughs, I can't take care of my baby. If I die, you take care of my baby. Now, that might have been a cover story. That might have been some old, could you take my baby with you to motherfucking Chicago? Y'all getting on the train. Going down when the levee breaks. Going down now. Going down to Chicago. That's where everybody came from, New Orleans. Even white folks. A lot of French motherfuckers. A lot of LaFleurs. A lot of David Dubois. That's one of my names. But that shit, when you write it, it looks like Dubois. I'm like David Dubois. I'll just be David Champlain or David motherfucking Cavarcier or some shit. You know? One of my surnames is not important. Fuck am I even talking about? So white people, they tried to rise up, I guess in 1945, I guess, or in 1939, and have a socialist utopia. And then they proceeded to fucking, what do they call that shit? Blitzkrieg? Blitz other white nations and kill and hurt other towns. France was, well, Poland was first, of course. Then they split Poland with the USSR. Poland fucking got it bad. Got it bad. Ukraine. There was problems down in Yugoslavia. There was Nazi Yugoslavia. There was Nazi Italy. There was Nazi Greece. There was Nazis that backed the nationalist. There was at the time a civil war in Spain. Spain stayed neutral. Nazi Switzerland, Finland, not Switzerland. They say neutral. Finland. I think Norway, Denmark. What's now Normandy. And somehow they didn't get to England, and that would have been the coup de grace. But so anyway, by doing that, by trying to make this wonderful children's Reich and this Hitler Youth, and all of us are gonna work out, and blonde little boys and blonde little girls like myself, you know, are gonna be healthy and cared for by the state, and we're not gonna feel like outcasts that are just used by capitalism. And everybody felt great. They felt like they had a purpose. They went to these rallies. He said, the spirit in me is the spirit of the youth. And Hitler had a great orator ability. Now, Hitler was on heroin and other drugs that will make you a great speech producer. Like, you throw me on the stage, I could talk. Like right now, I could talk. You give me some heroin. You give me feeling a little jazzy. I'm gonna go up on that bitch and I'm gonna lay it the fuck down. I probably lay it down right now, but I'm just saying he had a little help, and he had that rigidness to him. By the end of the war, his Parkinson's or whatever, His doctor said he was giving him meth and heroin. And the last thing he said he saw, the doctor said, was Hitler kill himself, and then they lit him on fire or some shit like that. I forgot. After killing Eva von Braun, his girl. So these sort of details. I mean, and they had every castle to themselves. They had every. It all started to fall apart, of course. The whole world's against you, and you're centrally located anyway. When you got Stalin over there building an army, and he thought he had to go to Moscow. I mean, even the Russians were like, "What did we do to deserve this? We could have been cool." And the Germans didn't reply. The Germans just knew if they didn't strike, this is what the Germans believed, if they didn't strike, the time would come where Stalin would advance, Stalin would infiltrate, they'd get their agents into their country, and either through political coups or just brute force or assassination or whatever. He feared USSR. He saw it as a Jewish regime, and they were not going to allow a white ethno-state to just act with impunity. But they really, the Russians did say to them at the meeting where they told them, "That's it, we're fucking with you. We're coming for you." The ambassador for Stalin or Moscow, USSR, said, "What did we do to deserve this?" So I don't know if Hitler would have actually needed to do that, if he could have focused on the Western Front. Either way, his judgment was impaired. They wanted him to die. Then people realized if we kill him, then they'll just get someone more competent. Then they did the Battle of the Bulge. America was already on land. And you're going to throw everything you got at him? That seems psychopathic. How about you trench warfare? They did it before. Hold the front. But they couldn't even do that because they had an Eastern Front. Them boys on the Eastern Front, they never got them reinforcements. They never got another piece of chocolate. They never got nothing. They were done. Freezing. Haven't washed your body in 17 days. Just getting picked off. Blah, blah, blah. It's a nightmare what white people face today and back then. But are they resilient enough? Yes and no. Tell me what you think. Do you think with a country where the demographics are shifting so rapidly towards Latino, and the black population's kind of like leveled off, but the whites are not replacing themselves at a rate because they've also been told not to have kids, all this LGBT shit, don't have kids until you're that's another thing with economics. You used to be able to get an apartment for $300 in Chicago, 2-bedroom, right? Or a house. You could buy a house for a reasonable price. So now you got this house. You could pop out as many motherfucking kids as you want at a young age. That's the best time to do it, because then she could bounce back. She could be on her 4th kid, 26. No problem. Now you got a mom there as young, 4 kids. Nowadays, girls are having kids at like 27, 30, 29, 26, 25. Sometimes real young, and that's not good either. So, let me hear you guys' thoughts if anybody watches this anymore. This is a new channel, I got no say. What do you guys think? What can we do? Can we stick up for our people like everybody else does before it's too late? There has to be just like an anti-violence, of course, agitation movement who just wants to see white children not suffer. Alright, everybody, peace.